I'm Miranda Bolden. I chose to build my company Logicor in one of the world's leading science and technology business centers right here in Huntsville, Alabama. Successful entrepreneurs and innovators excel here, and now you get to meet them. Hear the stories that lead to their success and the secrets that will help you thrive right here on The Miranda Show. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're here today to welcome our guest, Mr. Larry Lewis. Larry's a businessman, an entrepreneur, and a leader in the community, and we are so happy tonight to hear his story of wisdom and success. Welcome, Larry.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you, thank you. So Larry, we want to understand and learn more about you, the man that you are. I mean, you're doing such great things in the community with your business, but I want to first understand kind of who you are as a person. So tell me, where are you from?
So I'm originally from Tuscumbia, Alabama, the Shoals area. Born and bred there. Lived there for years, graduated high school and went to University of Alabama, Roll Tide.
All right.
Got my undergrad and graduate degree down there and moved to Huntsville shortly after graduation.
Okay, fantastic. So tell me about your family and you know, your wife, I understand, is Kim Lewis here in
so my wife is Kim Lewis. Everyone knows Kim. We have a 24-year-old stepdaughter. It's my stepdaughter, Sandy, and a 9-year-old Leela, who keeps us busy and running to various different events and whatnot.
So walk me through your educational history and your background. So what was your major in school?
So I go back a little bit further. When I was a young man, I always, like a kid really, I always wanted to have my own business. Been kind of wanting to do that since I was 8 years old. And so everything I've done, through high school, college, is trying to prepare myself for my business career that I've had. So when I graduated, went to University of Alabama. I started off in engineering because I thought I was going to be an engineer to start my career off with. But calculus and some other classes made me think that maybe engineering is not for me. So I transferred into New College, which is a college within the University of Alabama that allows you to create your own degree. And so I basically combined industrial engineering, computer science, and business together and to create a degree called Technical Industrial Management.
Okay.
I worked for the business school's computer facility, and so my boss there and a lot of the professors in the business school knew that I wanted to get my MBA. So I was able to get a fellowship, and I got an MBA, stayed down there for my fellowship and got my MBA in finance and strategic planning. So.
Okay, great. So I moved to Huntsville in around 2001, and I believe I was selling office furniture at that time as a college student. So I met you. You were working at Madison Research. Was that your first professional job?
It was actually my second.
Okay.
Bob Chastain and MTA, another defense contractor here in town, Bob has passed away, but he gave me my first opportunity out of University of Alabama. And so I worked for him for about 4 years, stayed here in Huntsville. As anyone in the defense business knows, if you're in defense, you've got to spend some time in D.C. So
absolutely,
spent time in D.C. And so did that for a while, for about 4 years, and then opportunity came available at Madison Research with John and Flo Stallworth. So. Okay,
fantastic. So what did you learn over at Madison Research that helped to develop your leadership style and your management style?
Well, it was a very, John is a very good leader. He empowered his employees to take ownership of the processes, procedures, the things that we were trying to do to grow our business. And so, most of the time when you start with a business, the owner will call you into the office and they'll ask you, what do you want to do? And you try to struggle to try to figure out what do you want to say, next 5 years, what are you going to do? And so I came up with something, but I told him that, he was CEO and president, and so I would like to be president of Madison Research one day.
Great.
And so that was kind of a bold thing on the first day, second day of the job. But he kind of took that to heart. He allowed me to work in just about every department that there was at Madison Research. I eventually rose up through the ranks and became vice president for corporate development, and I was vice president for IT for a while.
Awesome. And how long did that journey last?
It was a 10-year journey.
Awesome.
And when I started there, we had about 85 employees. We grew the company through, John's vision for strategic planning. We grew the company to about 700 people, and we sold in 2006.
It's an accomplishment. That's wonderful.
It was wonderful. It was a great ride. It was. We made a lot of friends. That company they treated employees like family, and so our family just we had family for 10 years, and like I said, we sold, and then we had to figure out what was next.
The lifespan of an entrepreneur.
Right.
So you own and operate BizTech. Share with us what is BizTech, and just share with us that story.
So BizTech is a nonprofit. It's Huntsville's oldest business incubator. So we don't necessarily own it. We own the building. So a little bit of history. So when we got started, after Madison Research sold, Kim had PROJECTXYZ, and we were looking to expand. So we went to BizTech and didn't really understand what BizTech was all about back then. But BizTech was formed to help diversify Huntsville's economy, to be more inclusive, not so much dependent on defense contracting. So as a potential defense contractor, we weren't really a good fit for being a client.
Okay.
And then so fast forward years later, I didn't know what happened to BizTech, but for sales sign was in front of the building, we thought it would be a great home for PROJECTXYZ, and so we ended up buying the building. BizTech was still alive and kicking, and long story short, I became CEO of BizTech. Oh,
awesome. So you mentioned you ended up buying the building. For most small businesses, funding can be an impediment. Can you share with us kind of how you financially were able to achieve that type of goal?
So we have always invested back into PROJECTXYZ. So when we first started, I didn't draw a salary. For the most part. And so we took that money and we put it into what we call Creekwater investment. Okay. And so we started building our own war chest. So to be able to, do the types of things that we need to do, banks, a lot of times, banks, they're your friends, but a lot of times when you need things, you might not be able to get it. So we want to have our access to our own capital. And we do have a good banking relationship. So our very first real estate purchase was out in El Paso. We purchased a 100,000 square foot facility there, kind of sight unseen, to support some of the defense work that we were doing. Okay,
very good. Well, I'd love to hear more about BizTech, but we're going to take a small commercial break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back with Larry Lewis. Thank you.
Has a rich cross-section of successful entrepreneurs. Hear for yourself how they became leaders. Join us as local innovators share tips, secrets, and the know-how that could help you thrive. The Miranda Show on WAFF 48.
Inspire and achieve. Yes, it's our name, but it's also our goal. Inspiring students to enter the world of mathematics and science and giving them scholarships to be able to achieve their goals. You can be a part of it. Go to inspireandachieve.net. You can volunteer, make a tax-deductible gift, and learn all about Inspire and Achieve. Students in Madison, Limestone, Morgan, and Lawrence counties, go to inspireandachieve.net and see how to apply for a merit-based scholarship up to $5,000. Inspire and Achieve. Join us at inspireandachieve.net.
We're back with Mr. Larry Lewis, and he's going to share more wisdom and insight with some of his endeavors. So Larry, I understand you have an investment firm called Creekwater Investments. So, tell us about that.
So Creekwater Investments right now is an arm of PROJECTXYZ. It's how we do a lot of our investment endeavors. Basically, Creekwater itself is basically like a small hedge fund. And one of the things that I'm kind of excited about that we're going to be doing with Creekwater as we move forward, a lot of people have always asked, how can we participate? People always ask me about investment advice or investment tips and things of that nature. So what I want to do is take the operational experience that I've learned at PROJECTXYZ, marry that with some of the investment knowledge that I've gained, and create this new entity, Creekwater Capital, that will give me an opportunity and Kim an opportunity to have people participate with us in a way that they haven't been able to before through Project XYZ, but yet have some of the benefits of the strength of Project XYZ as we move forward. It's kind of different. It's not a venture capital fund. It's not a private equity fund. It's kind of a hybrid. So I'm working with a partner to try to finalize the concept, but I'm really excited about it because of not only what it can do for our business, but how it can help continue some of the things that we're doing, trying to train the next generation of investor. Because there's entrepreneurs who are trying to start businesses, but there are a lot of people who just want to invest and know how to invest. Huntsville has been blessed with a network of angel investors for years, but we have to grow the next generation. Our generation and below, we need to learn more about how we invest in companies, how we use investment to do economic development in our communities. And so this is going to give us an opportunity to do that.
So what are the risks for those new entrepreneurs and startups? I know that sometimes it's difficult to make that decision to transition into, investments. What do those risks look like for the starting entrepreneur?
Well, for entrepreneurs, taking on capital is always risky when you bring on. It's like getting married, right? So you got to make sure you understand the people that you're doing business with and taking money from. From the angel investor side, the first thing I would tell people is have a diversified portfolio. Most angel investments, unfortunately, it's 1 in 10 that really work out. So you count on that one big, that one investment to become a big, return, have a big return to mitigate some of the maybe smaller returns or negative returns that you get. So the first thing I always say is have a diversified portfolio. If you are going to invest in small businesses, make sure that's not your nest egg. Don't let it all ride on a small business. But it can be rewarding because if you make the right connection, you can kind of become part of the business and help that business grow. So.
Okay. What type of businesses are you investing in your funds? Are these local small businesses or throughout the country? So
most of them are local based. I mean, we don't do a lot of just random investment. Most of the things that we do as Project XYZ and Creekwater are strategic. So we've got a hair care company we've invested in.
Oh, wow.
We have our new restaurant that's going to be opening up down in the Shoals area, where we've been making some investments in real estate and buildings down in that area, in Tuscumbia, where I'm from. We're going to be doing some projects with hopefully in the town of Triana, where Kim's from, and doing some investments there as well. So it's kind of broad-based. I mean, we're engineering, logistics, technology, but I'm a business person at heart. So I love business, and so if it seems like it has an opportunity to do a decent return, we'll give it consideration.
Absolutely. So talk to me about the restaurant industry. That's an area that's much needed and always very welcomed. What made you go into the restaurant side? So
restaurants are very risky. So the thing that convinced me, there's a young man, Darnell Ferguson, who has 3 restaurants already in the Louisville and Columbus, Ohio area. He wants to come to Alabama. And so we met him. We loved his story. We loved his food primarily.
That's important.
And he wanted to open up a restaurant here in Huntsville, and we're going to help him do that. But I told him, don't discount the smaller markets. So in Tuscumbia, Alabama, where we had already purchased an old bank building and a movie theater, we purchased a restaurant building, and we've been working with the city getting that property ready, and he'll launch his business down there. He is on TV. He'll have an opportunity to be on the Today Show sometime in mid-June. So that's why we made that investment, because we believed in him and his story, and we want to also do some economic development back in the Shoals area.
Great. And just for our audience, what type of foods does this gentleman serve?
So he describes it as urban eclectic, but he's a breakfast, lunch, primarily. We'll have dinner in our restaurant in Tuscumbia, but he's just an amazing chef. I mean, his just ideas of concepts of how he mixed the different food groups together to create something new.
It's magical.
It's magical. Fantastic. We did a tasting down in Tuscumbia at the Rattlesnake Saloon, which is also a great place to go in the Tuscumbia area. but the people that came to the tasting were just blown away by the foods that he had. So,
did you say the Rattlesnake Saloon?
The Rattlesnake Saloon. If you haven't been to the Rattlesnake Saloon in Tuscumbia, it's built in the mouth of a cave. It's waterfall, beautiful property. The owners of the Rattlesnake have been very helpful to us as we migrate to Tuscumbia with the restaurant. So, but it's a unique experience, and I would encourage anyone who hasn't been there to go try it out.
We'll definitely have to check that out. You mentioned making investments in Triana. Triana has been a growing little community for a long time. Tell me about some of those investments. I'm sure that's very exciting.
So, Huntsville has been booming,
Yes.
and so, but the surrounding areas may have not kept up with some of the space that Huntsville has. And so they have an industrial park in the town of Triana. There's been a lot of housing developments that have gone on down there, but not a lot of industrial development. So we want to work with the town, the mayor, to bring maybe some more elements of things that are happening in the defense industry, logistics types businesses, space into their industrial park there. So we're working on some ideas that we hope to unveil here soon.
Great. And I always want to know, how do you balance it all when it comes to what they call the work-life balance? You have a family, you have all these great things going on. How do you balance all of that and do it well?
Well, I'm an only child, but Kim is one of 10. So family plays a big part in allowing us to be able to do what we do. We have, Kim's brothers and sisters, my brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws.
Takes a village, right?
It takes a village. My family down in the Shoals area that goes up. My mom does a lot to help out, but it's a challenge. I mean, there's a lot of things that, with her being the chair, the first African-American female chair of the chamber, the lot that goes into that and the work that she's been doing there, the things that we've been doing from our civic and community work. It's challenging at times, but it's rewarding, and our children understand what we do and why we do it, and we try to get them involved as much as we possibly can.
Okay, so what's next for you? You've got lots of great things going on, and maybe there's not a next, maybe it's just kind of focusing on those things that you have going on right now, but what is your vision and what is it that you'd like to see for Larry next?
Well, I think, we talk to a lot of young entrepreneurs, and I tell everybody, this is, I'm 52, so this next 10 years, this is my last hurrah. I'm trying to do things and position things with some of the new businesses, the new ideas with Creekwater Capital and other things that we're going to be doing to position ourselves for the next 10. We want to continue our community involvement, want to continue to do investments, but we want our legacy, I think, is to be we started off with not a lot, and we have been able to achieve some measure of success, and we want to give back, and we want everyone who has a desire to be part of economic development to understand how to go about doing it, and know that you can take a risk and that you can make it and make something of your life. Absolutely.
Well, thank you again, and we'll have more from Larry Lewis after the break. Thank you.
Inspire and achieve. Yes, it's our name, but it's also our goal. Inspiring students to enter the world of mathematics and science and giving them scholarships to be able to achieve their goals. You can be a part of it. Go to inspireandachieve.net. You can volunteer, make a tax-deductible gift, and learn all about Inspire and Achieve. Students in Madison, Limestone, Morgan, and Lawrence counties, go to inspireandachieve.net and see how to apply for a merit-based scholarship up to $5,000. Inspire and Achieve. Join us at inspireandachieve.net.
You probably don't spend a lot of time thinking about banking. You're probably more focused on living for today and planning for tomorrow. That's why Regions puts you first. We know there's more to you than your checking account. You're dreaming about a vacation home, or season tickets for your team, or finally taking those paddleboarding lessons. With our people, our tech, and our tools, we make your life easier because we get it. Some things are bigger than banking.
Welcome back to the show. We're continuing our conversation with Mr. Larry Lewis and getting back into BizTech. So Larry, talk to me about BizTech and how other leaders or entrepreneurs can get involved with what you have going on there.
So BizTech is a business incubator. It's open for all types of businesses. So whether you're trying to start a coffee shop, a government contractor, or trying to build a next app, we support any entrepreneur.
Now, is there a cost for that service?
So there's not really a cost for the mentoring and the mentorship that we provide to our clients.
It's totally free.
It's totally free. I mean, right
Okay,
now,
all
you know,
right,
it's we as part of our way to give back to the community. We do receive some funding from the city of Huntsville, so we appreciate that.
Fantastic.
But most of the services are free. If you want to be resident within BizTech, we do charge for office space and things of that nature. But it's we have about 30 clients, about 15 that are resident inside the building, and we have another 15 that are virtual clients that use our conference rooms and things of that nature.
And so have you been able to analyze the success rate of the incubator model here?
So it's, the incubator model is really built upon the whole ecosystem. So, there's BizTech, there's Hudson Alpha, Urban Engine, Rise. There are a lot of entities that are supporting entrepreneurship. And so, it's we do feel like we're having an impact on the community. There are a lot of success stories that have come out of all the organizations that are supporting entrepreneurs.
Okay. So let's change the subject a little bit and talk a little bit about Innovate Huntsville.
Okay.
So we're all very excited about Innovate Huntsville, and we understand that you guys are actually upcoming on a 5-year anniversary. Congratulations on that.
Oh, well, thank you. It's amazing that it's been 5 years. It started off when I became CEO of BizTech. What I found is that a lot of entities, we weren't really talking to one another. We respected each other. We knew what everyone was kind of doing, but we didn't really talk to one another. So the best way that I found to get people engaged is to work together on a project. So that's how the first Innovate Huntsville Week came about. And it was a week to shine a spotlight on entrepreneurs and the organizations that support them here in Huntsville.
Okay.
And so during that process, we realized as a group that we should be meeting more regularly. We should be talking to one another more actively. And that led to Innovate Huntsville becoming basically an alliance of all of these organizations to support entrepreneurship, to work together, to understand where we fit into the entrepreneurial ecosystem, to be more effective when we deal with entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
And so 5 years, Innovate Huntsville normally happens at the last week of February, the Innovate Huntsville Week.
Yes.
So we're getting our ideas together to make the 5th anniversary one of the best Innovate Huntsvilles that we've ever had. Absolutely,
and we're very proud of that. Has the city of Huntsville embraced this concept that you have? It sounds like
yes,
it has.
The city has been very supportive of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurialism and Innovate Huntsville.
Yes.
One of the things that recently has happened, the City of Huntsville City Council recently passed a resolution granting funds for us to open up a new center, Innovate Huntsville Center downtown.
Awesome.
They'll open in the Old Times building in the lower floor. I don't like to say the basement.
Yay.
It's the lower floor
Yes.
of the Old Times building. And so that's going to be a 10,000 square foot facility for co-working and innovation.
Awesome.
That'll be open to any entrepreneurs that are looking to do business in Huntsville or downtown.
Well, downtown is certainly growing, and we're very excited. So wonderful. Keep up the great work. So Larry, you're also an angel investor. Man, you're a guy of many hats. Tell us about your career as an angel investor.
So we actually started doing angel investment at PROJECTXYZ. I mean, through our Creekwater investment arm, we invested in other small businesses because as a small business ourselves, we knew how difficult it is to get started. So we made just small investments because we're a small company.
We're not sharks.
We're not sharks. We don't have
Okay,
didn't have a lot of money, but we made small investments. But when I became CEO of BizTech, one of the things that I noticed was that you had to know somebody to be able to raise capital. So one of our first initiatives was to create an angel network. So the Angels of North Alabama is a program of BizTech that brings angel investors together to evaluate pitch ideas from entrepreneurs. We try to meet once a month or once every 2 months. We have 3 entrepreneurs come and pitch, and we're not a fund. So all we are just we're facilitating angel investors with entrepreneurs. And so we've done have about 30 companies that have come through over the past 2 years or so, and about 15 of those companies have received funding.
So what advice would you give our audience tonight as far as if they wanted to receive funding, how would you recommend they perform their pitch?
Well, the first thing is to know your business and to know your
product.
pitch and know when it's time to raise capital, because we never raised money at Project XYZ per se. I mean, we were blessed. We were able to, use some of our own funds to grow our business. And, what some people will tell you is that giving up equity is probably some of the most expensive money that you will ever give up. So,
Yes.
Make sure that it's the right time to raise equity for your business. But before you do that, explore other alternatives. I mean, there are a lot of banking relationships, banks in town that you can develop a great banking relationship with. That has given us the ability to do the things that we've done.
Okay.
But the other thing that entrepreneurs need to be aware of too is, when you watch Shark Tank and shows like that, what's the first thing that they always say is valuation. Your
Yes.
baby might not be worth as much to me as you think it is. So, be honest with yourself about valuation and realize that you do have to give up something when you bring in outside investment.
Okay, very good. So Larry, you've got several businesses. Tell us, which one are you most passionate about? Yeah, which one?
That's like trying to choose between your children, right? The way I look at it, we have different names for the businesses that we have, but most everything is through Project XYZ. And so through Project XYZ, I think we have built a very diverse infrastructure. We have several businesses underneath. But me as a person, I'm passionate about investing. I've been studying the market since I was 8, 9 years old. I've been trading more often now, and this trading technique that I'm using now has really just changed the way that I think about how I do investment and even how I run my business. Because what I've learned is to be a successful investor, you have to recognize opportunities, and you also need to know how to manage risk. Evaluate risk to go along with that, and that's kind of my trading and my investment strategy.
Okay,
now.
very good. Just real quick, you are also an executive with Project XYZ. Tell us what your role is there.
So I'm president of Project XYZ, co-founder, president.
Right.
Kim started the business in 2002. When we sold Madison Research, I came on board at around 2007. It was an interesting experience because even though we had been in business, we were still kind of like a startup. And so when you go from a company of 700 people to a company of 3, people know you as, Larry Lewis, Vice President of Madison Research. You're President of Project XYZ, but what is Project XYZ and what have you done for me lately? So
Yes.
it was an interesting ride, but we've had a ton of fun. A lot of people thought that when we formed Project XYZ that we were trying to re-emulate what we were doing at Madison Research, and we didn't have a strong strategic plan or anything like that. Kim and I just wanted to work together, and we wanted to.
You wanted to work together?
We wanted to work together. And even that, we even shared an office together for many years, and our goal was to get big enough so we can have separate offices.
Oh, I know. My husband and I, we're on opposite ends of the building.
So that we finally have achieved that. So, but we just wanted to work on cool projects, and if it generated money and we grew, so be it. But if we just had enough to be able to take care of ourselves, so be it.
Doing what you love, having fun, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
That's a good way of saying
So
it.
if you wanted to leave some words of wisdom with our audience tonight, tell us what those things would be.
Well, I think the first thing is if you're looking to be an entrepreneur, realize that it's hard work. It can be rewarding, but don't underestimate the amount of work that it's going to take, the amount of time that it takes, and the dedication. Also, realize that no one's going to care more about your business than you. Be willing to listen to advice that comes into you, and criticism. Have a tough skin, but know what you want to do, have a vision, and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us tonight. We appreciate having you on the show, and we look forward to seeing more great things come from you, you and Project XYZ, and your lovely wife, Kimberly Lewis. Thank you all.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for watching our show today, and make plans to join us next week for another riveting conversation with leaders and innovators right here on The Miranda Show.